started, I want you to just know that we've got a lot to cover, even as a board, in addition to
recording in progress.
Your concerns about where you leave. You have 3 minutes. I've tried to put some of these things together so as that we will not go over and over the same things that the other person says. So you remember you're held to 3 minutes. I've got you covered on that.
How long
Get started.
speaking, excuse me, I'll break in just for this minute.
Say again?
I'll just break in just for this 1 minute. Some of my residents are not conscious, so she's gonna speak 1 minute, she's dedicating her other 2 minutes to me.
I'm not doing that.
Is that appropriate? What
3
we're not
minutes.
doing?
With 3 minutes per person.
3 minutes.
Well, I'll stand
3 minutes
aside.
per
I'll stand
person,
aside.
period. Everybody gets 3 minutes,
Everybody gets 3 minutes.
no more. Chairman,
Yes.
before we get started,
Before
this is a commissioners meeting, and we will have order in here. You know, I know these are very much emotional issues, and certainly we share the emotions because we've been having these conversations on your behalf. But we will not have any issue with people in here being out of order. Care what your title is and none of that other stuff. That's not what we're doing. We're here to hear and allow those that are representatives of who you are to hear your complaints. That will be done decent and in order.
And everything that you say, we take to heart. We know that you have some problems and we want to address those. But we don't want to hear the same thing over and over. 11:30?
11:30.
11:30. The April 20th board meeting for the Metropolitan Housing Alliance is now called to order. Roll call, please, there.
Oh.
Director Benedicto.
All right. Chairman Lee Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis Jackson. Commissioner Lita Anthony.
Here.
Commissioner Brandy Peterson.
Is she? Brandy?
Do we not have anybody waiting in the lobby?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She might join later.
All right.
Commissioner Carrie Wright.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. You have before you the minutes of this meeting. I'll take a motion to approve. Once you peruse.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Any questions? That motion passes.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Public participation, I have quite a few cards, like I said before, 3 minutes. And we will begin with 1E.
How about it in my pool? All right. Warnie Dukes, Parish Tower.
Mr. Dukes.
Yes, sir.
Go
You ready?
ahead. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I first of all want to commend my residents for coming out because we have to stand as one. What I'm going to give right now, a lot of you are not going to like, which is going or not, but someone's going to have to share the blame of it. Parish Towers, you can come there and get anything you want. You want some A, use a synonym. You can come and get that. You want some H, you won't come there and get it. You want a menage, you can come there and get that too. You want some crack? You can come there and get that. We'll offer you a place to smoke it on the steps. If you haven't got a hotel room, you can sleep up under the balcony of the first floor. Or not, go to the 14th floor and sleep on the couch or laundry. Hey ladies, watch yourself. At Parish Towers, you're gonna get groped if you're caught alone. We've had that happen 3 times.
Yes, we have.
Hey, my time. 3 times. Since the guards left, people from all types and walks of life come off the streets like it's a revolving door. Hey, they want to stay. They catch the elevator and go where they want to. No participation in guards. Hey, it's a mess, I tell you, yeah. Now, nobody wants to get involved, but now they call me the whistleblower. because I kicked the darn ball way up the field. And these are the things that are happening just yesterday, day before. We've had 3 stabbings lately yesterday. Last night we had a shooting. A fire was shot out. You can clearly hear it from my 9th floor window. Argument. There's no 10:30 curfew anymore. They extended and said, let's go to 3:30 or 4. Without guards, that's what's happening, rampant. SAP is why I call them, said, well, it's not MHA. It's going SAP. To me, it's a synonym for sorry A people. Because when they left the people there without security, it might as well be a class action lawsuit. People's lives are put in danger because of it. They're wandering at home seeing who they can devour. Women. They're catching them in the laundromat, groping them. Hey, now no one wants to do anything. They're not going to do anything until there's a killing. Then everybody's going to sit on their hands and have deniability. It's not doing it. Hey, just by the sheer numbers of Puerto-Ricanos that come here, and there were plenty more. 1 week I had 6. The next week I had 28. That's an improvement. People are concerned. It's for 50 plus and up. It's LGBTQs now outnumber regular folks and they want to dress like women. Little Debo had to stop one of them because it's so inappropriate. We got school children here, just like this. Next time, I yield my time to you. You better come on up here, sister. They won't allow me to take your time. Make your minute and do what you do best.
Ms. Jodine.
Do what you do best.
I'm start off like this here. It's unsafe for anybody to stay there. Men, women, anybody, kids. I don't know what he thought about when he did 18 and up. It don't make no sense to me. Cause you get on the elevator, they wanna feel your booty, they wanna do everything to you, rub on you. I don't know what to say about this here. This is a bad situation right now. Cause you're scared to go to the laundry room, you're scared to put your trash in the trash chute. Cause they'll come up there and they push you against the walls and stuff, want to handshake with you. It's not safe. It's really not safe. And government, I don't know what to say about that. Cause they want their money, but they don't want to fix nothing. I don't put in 10 requests to have my sink, when I let my water out my sink, it go up in the bathroom. That's nasty. And I don't put in so many work orders. I'm tired of putting in work orders. That's not gonna happen no more. I just ready for it to break down, not work. And when we didn't have no water, oh Lord have mercy. I can't tell you about the water. It's white stuff in the water. And you can look at it. Get a quick glass and look at the water. You got something floating up in there. I'm scared to drink the water. Especially take the bath in it, because you leave your skin white. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. C.E. Van? Is that you? Come right up. C.E. Van?
Me,
Ness?
It's right behind us.
my last name is Van Ness.
Van Ness, okay, thank you.
I'm here today to throw out my complaints about the place. We have people that come in there at night and then they come start knocking on doors wanting you to buy drugs or wanting you to give them some drugs, or they want you to let them in and stay the night with you. I got a sign on my door that says don't knock after 9 o'clock, no exception. That's mine.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's all right.
And we have a parking issue. We got people that park in the handicap spaces in the areas between the cars that's striped. That is not a parking space. I don't care where you're from. And there's people threatening people up there, and they're gonna end up getting their head blowed off. Because there's some idiots up there that come up there and want you to give them this, give them that, give them this, give them that. I don't give nothing to nobody. That's why they don't like me. I don't give nothing. And I ain't. If it offends you, call your congressman. I've been in that building 11 years. And the longer I've been there, the more downhill it goes. And I'm about to the basement. Because, oh, you gotta call this, you gotta call that, you gotta call this. Give us a list. They put them deals in your door, and somebody comes by and grabs them and throws them on the ground.
And you don't get them.
Right.
And I'm sick of it. What I got on my door, it says, don't knock after 9 p.m., no exceptions. I don't care if your throat's cut all the way around. Don't knock on my door, because I'm old, I gotta get my rest. And if that offends anybody, pucker up. I've tried to be nice to people, and they won't let you be nice to them. I'm not kissing nobody's anatomy, because it ain't made to do that. This one ain't. Now, there may be a bunch of others that do, but this one ain't. And that's as blunt as I can get. Am I done?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your
Thank-
time.
Thank you, sir.
All 4 of you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Janet?
My name is Janet Crafton. I am supposed to be the secretary of the board, but that's another subject. We've already covered the violence. We have fights on the 4th floor. I'm on the 4th floor. We have fights 2 or 3, multiple times a week. We have gunshots. I call the police at least 4 or 5 times a week. The fire department comes during the days and every night. The police come during the days and during the nights. They have to take the stairs. The reason that elevator is not working is not because it's a chain problem, it's because water keeps breaking like it did last week, and we were without water all day. When they turned the water back on, they said, didn't turn the hot water on, then they turned water that would come out of the hot spout, but it wasn't hot. We was out without water, hot water for 3 days. And quite frankly, I am getting tired of people asking me, who the hell do you think you are, you fucking white bitch? Now, I normally don't use language like that, but number 1, I am not a bitch. I am a human. Number 2, I am not white. My father was Native American and Middle Eastern and Mediterranean. So there's a lot of colors in between white and black. I'm sorry that I look so damn white, but don't call me white. Now, I am tired of my toilet not working and not working for 2 weeks. It'll go for 2 weeks and it'll smell like an outhouse before I can get something done. Water doesn't work. Alarms don't work. There's a person who's not here today who is well known. He's not here because maintenance went in and did something to his knob, and he can't lock his door except from the inside. There's another woman who was sexually assaulted who's not here, and she was bruised terribly. She had terrible bruises all over her. She was in the laundry room. She's not here because she's afraid. I'm not afraid. I take pictures of people who are acting a fool. I call the police, and if you want to threaten me, you go right ahead. I now carry pepper spray. I've ordered a taser. I choose not to carry a weapon because I happen to think America has too many of them. But I am taking a self-defense course. I am tired of the fact that people threaten other people. We have, the front door is wide open. Now, the back door has been wide open since we had no security. They came through the back door. Now they can just go through the front door. That's not a problem. There's nothing to stop them. And then my fob, when we did have the front door working, will not work on it, and I have to stand and wait for somebody to let me in. We do not get our repairs made. I'm waiting for a toilet seat. I have lived there for 3.5 years. I have not had a toilet seat that stayed on my toilet, and quite frankly, there is nothing wrong with the way I sit on my toilet. I've been doing it for 66 years.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And I know how to sit.
Thank you.
Chairman, you have a gavel.
Miss
Somebody needs one.
Christopher? Christopher?
My main thing is the security, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are other people that say, we got too many elderly people in there, we got too many little kids in there. And like I say, I know three women that got assaulted in the building. Now, government has sent out some letter saying it's up for us to take care of it. But the police says they can't do nothing if we call them. It has to be called from the office. Well, the stuff don't happen until nighttime. And what's gonna end up gonna happen is somebody's gonna get killed. Because a lot of us are getting tired of it. And like I said, I get problems from the military. And I don't like people I don't know coming up to me, getting smart at the mouth with me. You don't live here? What are you doing in my building? I ask you to leave, you gonna jump up at me, you're gonna get hurt. All right? That's the main thing. All this stuff that's not getting fixed, I'm not really worried about that. It's to the point now, when I come out of my apartment during the daytime, and especially at night, I got at least 2 knives, a baton or something on me. Because you mess with me, I'm hurting you. And if I go to jail, guess what? You going to the morgue. Pretty simple. I mean, I'm not being irate. I'm just tired of it. I've been there since 2016. And this is ridiculous. I didn't go fight to be treated like I'm worse than a convict. At least they got guards to make sure nobody bothers them. We ain't got nobody to stop us, to help us. That's the main thing. You got other places that have, when I first got ready to move in there were 3 other places that offered me apartments. But because this one had 24-hour guard, that's why I picked it. You can't come in here unless I come down there and sign you in.
Amen.
Now you ain't got that, so you can come in there and just walk around and see me in the hallway and stab me.
That's true.
What's to stop you? There's nobody there, the door's breaking, so I can just walk on in. That's my main concern, the security. Get the security back there, get it where if you come to see somebody, they gotta come down and sign you in, all right? And you got people that's sneaking in people, they took the alarms off the doors. So you just come on in the side door. There's nothing to stop anybody. And like I say, it's gonna come to the point where somebody's gonna get hurt or killed, or some woman is gonna get raped in the building. Like there was other people that said, you had one young lady in a wheelchair. And she got grabbed on. You got another young lady, she goes to throw her trash away, some guy exposed himself out of her. You got another lady trying to clean up some blood off the floor, and some guy coming up behind her talking about hitting her from the back. What kind of crap is this? This is where you live. We live. And we don't feel safe. I like to say, at least convicts feel safe in prison. They got guards.
Thank you, sir. Miss Lindahl, Naomi?
A lot of people in the building know me as Arrow. I know I haven't been the best tenant, and I'll be honest about that. But it's got to a point where I have old men knocking on my door at night, people staying outside with guns. It's got to a point where my room is starting to smell bad because I'm afraid to take out the trash. I don't know who stays there, who's not anymore. I don't feel safe. I want to move. When I came here, I came because not only there was the 24-hour guards, but it was the fact that everyone had well-maintenance place. Maintenance was kept up, the cleanliness was kept up. When I came here, I did not have no health issues. I've been there for about 2 years now, almost 3, and I now have 6 heart conditions, an autoimmune disorder, and 4 new mental illnesses, including psychosis. All from the stress, from the smells, to everything around me is going and falling into chaos, and I don't know where I stand and I want to go. But I don't have the money, can't get a job, and I want somewhere to place, somewhere safe. I worry about my friends because they're dying. 3 people have been found dead in their apartment. Is this what we're supposed to do? This is a place for older people and people who want to live out their life in peace, not where you want to die from mold in the ceiling. My 3 minutes up?
Yes, sir. Ms. Lindbergh, thank you, thank you. Ms. Looms, Faye? That's all right.
My name is Miss Loomis. I live in 1206 at Paris Towers. I have a sock that you lay down to collect water that was rolled up and put in my ceiling, and it's molded. And now I have breathing issues. My doctor wants me to move. The only problem is I'm probably like the rest of you guys. I don't have the money to move. You know what I mean? And I'm elderly, and I have no one to help me. I don't have any family members. You know, I don't know what to do. I've tripped in the hallway because at the end of our hallway under the air conditioner, water leaks and the tiles are lifted up. You know, and you catch your feet on them. Well, I'm almost 70 years old. Of course I'm gonna catch my feet on stuff. And I don't know. My shower, I have to take a pan of water in my shower because my shower hose leaks when you turn it on, and it's gonna blow it off. And I don't wanna be responsible. I've been told to shut up and go to my room, but they'll take care of it when they can. It's been over a year. I don't know who to go to. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And the elevator needs to be fixed because when the ambulance or the fire truck comes, we're stuck sometimes 20, 30 minutes standing in the hallway waiting for the elevator. I just want to know when my stuff's going to get fixed.
Thank you.
I'm going to be able to live.
Ms. Dedman? Ms. Dedman?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, my name is Irma Dedman, and I'm a resident of Paris Tower, from 508. I have a lot of concern issues about well-being and our living condition. Me personally, when I first moved to Paris Tower, I had a lot of issues going on when I first moved to my apartment, but things started getting better. But since I've been in Paris Tower for almost 4 years, I have COPD now. I'm in and out the emergency room because of the mold, the trash. I just went to the doctor about a week ago. Now I'm to the point where I'm suffering with congestive heart failure now. The place is really stressing, putting the stress on me. Everybody know I used to be a big woman. Within the last year or two, I lost right over 84 pounds because of stress about the living conditions there. I just recently got my refrigerator after waiting 2 months. I recently just got a refrigerator repaired. I mean, you know, to the security, I can agree with a lot of y'all because the other night when I was getting ready to take my trash downstairs to put it out because the trash thing, this young man was sitting in the stairway smoking crack pipe. And I'm like, well, really? So I want to call 911. So ever since then, I've been getting little threats, you know. When I go out the door, it's like they sitting there watching me, trying to wait on me. But I'm gonna tell you something, I'm not scared about long shot. Never none of that. I know how to protect myself. But I just try not to do those things. I try to abide by the rule and the regulations of Paris Tower, what they have us to go by, I guideline. But I'm just asking that we can come together and try to get something, because I love Paris Tower. I really do. I love the place. I love the residents. Some of them, all of them ain't good, but some are good. But you know what? We can't just follow the manager. We have to follow ourselves as well. Because a lot of us not doing what the manager's doing is what we do, allowed to be done. That's all I have to say. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
All right. This was all at Parish Towers, and I want y'all to know that, you know, we take all of this serious to heart, and I really regret that Gorman is not here to represent, to hear this.
Yes, we noticed that he's
Everything,
not here.
pardon?
Evidently Gorman is not paying attention to
Right,
this.
well, we are, and we're gonna find some way to address this issue one way or another. And if you don't know it, this is being streamed, so this is here, and they can see it anytime they want to. All right, all right.
I
The
don't know if
next,
you're aware of it, but there are the people that live around us in those large white
well,
houses.
this is
those
your
white
home, and
folks,
you,
They've
yeah.
hired an attorney. They want to have the building evaluated by the fire department, the city code inspector, and the state and the feds.
Thank you. Miss Wade?
I'm really not sure how this goes. I'm really here more on a personal issue. I'm a resident of Madison Heights,
Okay.
where Miss Anthony works. Over the weekend, we had an incident.
No incident
Wait a
around.
minute, all right, let her, go ahead, let her finish, yeah.
We had some new neighbors. I think they've been there for maybe like 3 weeks. My kids walked to the store. I have it on video. My kids walked to the store. They jumped my kids. They had knives. They had tasers. So I got a phone call from the store. So I go to the store to get my kids. Now, not knowing that these are the same kids who stay across from me. The leasing assistant came out, Miss Sharita, and she observed like them being aggressive and this and that, whatever. I got a notice saying that we had guns, we had this and we had that. I did not know where that came from, Miss Anthony, because I felt if we did, the police was not called there. The police came from the store. And someone probably would have went to jail if it was a gun, a knife, or anything. This video, I have 3 kids. I'm a single mother, no father, nowhere in sight. My baby is on the ground. They're beating my baby head on the concrete. My smallest child is 11 years old. She's a cheerleader. That's my baby. You see what I'm saying? I don't feel like I did anything wrong by going down there and getting my kid. By the time I was coming into Madison Heights, the police was coming in on their side. And I didn't understand why I got the 3-day notice. And for what?
There's a police report.
Yes.
And they didn't understand it
There's a
either.
police report that took place. I went to the property, as did most of the board. And folks, this is not the first incident that Miss Wade and her children have had on the property. We're still waiting for Miss Wade to repair a window.
Well, now please, it's
Okay,
right
that's
there.
enough, that's
We're
enough.
still
We had
waiting.
enough. We've
And
had you 3 minutes.
basically, this is a CAAC matter.
Well, that's exactly right,
And
yeah.
we would love to have it, and for the board, for the purpose of the board, I want you all to get a copy of the police report.
Oh, I do.
Thank you, and, yeah,
And-
that's it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
But
Thank you.
the notice went out to both households. It
Right.
didn't just go out to Miss Wade's household.
And that's
They
according
went,
to,
and you welcome, and there is going to be a court hearing,
Right.
and you can take it up in court.
We can sure
Thank
do that.
Thanks, ma'am.
And so, don't worry
no.
about it. Dr. Lynn, 3 minutes, and y'all have a great day. Especially
You
when
too.
the parents tell.
all right, as I said, we all take all these issues to heart, and this is your home, and this is no way that, you need to live.
30 folks coming out.
All right, Executive Director's report.
Okay, so,
Go ahead.
all right, thank you, Chairman. So I'll be giving the HCV report. We have a couple of people out in the office not feeling well. And so I'll be stepping in, giving those numbers for HCV. And I'll try to answer questions as best I can. Okay, so if you turn to your Section 8 report, you see that with our programs, the first cluster, where,
Can I get you away just
Oh,
a minute to let
yes,
people
ma'am.
who choose
All right.
to exit?
To exit, yeah.
If there's anyone who chooses to exit.
You're welcome to
Is our
stay.
part finished?
Yes,
yes,
With the award meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I would like to go and sit outside and wait for my ride. I can't stand because of my injuries. Oh, and by the way, I'm getting a job. Fortunately, I have telephone skills, and I'm going to sit and get a job, and I'm going to move. There's no way in heck I'm going to allow my 7 and 11-year-old grandchildren who are supposed to come here for the summer and be in that building. That is not going to happen.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Crafton.
All right.
Okay. So, all right, so we're at 90% vouchers utilized. That's stable from last month, actually, exact same number. We did have a increase in all the other programs, modest, but still going up. So with mainstream, we are up to 68%. That is up by, oh, let's see, where's my previous numbers? Like 2% from the prior board meeting. We went up just by 1 with Elm Street. With emergency housing voucher, we did have a count of 3 to lease up. We're really working hard with that one. In addition, with emergency housing voucher, one of the issues that we learned with our last on-site review is that there was very, very little use of the service fees. So with those 3 that did lease up, we made sure that they knew about the service fees and the eligible use for those dollars, like security deposits or utilities. And so each one of those EHV participants was able to utilize at least security deposits based off their needs identified by the referral. And so we did have a increase by 1 with foster youth to independence. And then, of course, I think, Chairman, you asked that some family self-sufficiency numbers be added to the report, and it did go over into the second page. Also, with HCV, over 700 letters went out last week because we are at the stage where we've got to get caught up now. The first quarter was largely defined by the conversion. This quarter is now catch up. And so there's a lot of annuals that have to be done. So we sent out over 700, is that right, Carlos? Annuals for people to start turning in their data. The good thing about it is we also sent out information for those clients to turn their data in via the portal on Yardi. So over the weekend, we did get over 10% to register and start uploading. So that's going to be more efficient for us to do those certifications. Also with HCV, we have this increased volume because, of course, the card program is over with the utility reimbursement. So we have had over 80-some people to sign up with EFT for that program as well, which is really going to help reduce some of the paper. Both of them will reduce paper. So we are working to use our Yardi tool and to slow down foot traffic. So that's where we are. So we do expect over the next month to really be shutting in and getting those annuals done and getting caught up there. Also with HCV, we have had about 10 individuals that have contacted us who were affected by the tornado on March 31. And so each one of those individuals, we immediately issued them vouchers. Initially, the first 8, we were able to connect with the city and get them hotel vouchers. At this point, we're directing them to the Red Cross and the Family Assistance Center that's set up over there on Shackelford. We're continuing to track them. We've submitted a waiver to HUD to see if they would allow us an increased payment standard to help get those individuals rehoused. That's one of the things that's allowed under the disaster. And so we know that it's really going to be competitive for them to be rehoused with so many other people having lost their homes so quickly. So we're awaiting a response from HUD on that, and we're very hopeful that a waiver will be granted. So they're all searching right now, and as you can imagine, it's the amounts.
Oh, what?
The amounts, the payments,
amount.
yeah.
There's a couple concerns that we have. One of the things that used to happen was the briefing once individuals were given a voucher as to what their expectation could be. And of course, I know everybody's busy, but there has to be some type of clarity given to individuals who are getting vouchers as to waiting list. Because they come into these offices and they think that once, that they do not have to go through the application process, that's one. And that they can be still not past the application process because of other things like evictions and other things that have happened on their record. They basically feel, or have some basically feel and have demonstrated that they're given this voucher with a guarantee that they're going to get an apartment that day. That's not what happens. And of course, we get a lot of folks who are very upset that they're not, moving into an apartment within the days. So I don't know what's happening with that.
So
but-
we do briefings. We have, we're actually briefing our tenants upon vouchers. We're doing them in person, right here. And every now and then, we'll have enough activity where we'll take them to the second floor to do briefings. So we are briefing them. They're being educated on the expectations. And of course, you'll still have those people who will ask the very question that you just informed them on. But for the most part, the briefings are pretty thorough. And now, of course, you do have applicants who we do have to remind about the waiting list and how they can't just move into a unit. They have to be put in line like everyone else. But we are doing briefings. We're doing upon voucher issuance.
Do they leave with a packet?
They do. They leave with a briefing packet.
In the packet, does it explain all of that?
Yes, and there's a checklist. It's a number of things that are covered. So it's, we can review it though to make sure that we're capturing some of the issues that you're raising, Commissioner Anthony. So, but yeah, there is a packet.
And the issue about the waiting list is addressed in that packet. That you're, telling them you're on this list. And we don't have.
Well, most of the people, so of course they're an applicant before they're a voucher recipient.
Right,
So they
okay.
get that education about the waiting list, even as an applicant, because they learn, once they submit that application, then they're informed that
about
now
the
you're
waiting
on the
list.
waiting list and here's your spot. So that education really precedes that voucher issuance. But I think, sure, we can remind them there, if it's,
I'd like
you're
to
noticing
have
a
couple of
problem.
those Packets, just at the buildings.
Okay.
That they're going into, so property managers can have that in hand to remind them that this is what was covered with you, so
What
it should not
about
be coming as a
online?
shock.
When they apply online, is there provided information there too?
There is, so if someone right now decides they want to apply, they'll put their information in, and then it will generate for them a confirmation number, and they'll be told they're put on the waiting, they're getting information about being put on the waiting list. But I'll give you a copy of the packet, and we can always enhance it.
And right now, again, when the general public has questions and they are not getting their questions or cannot get into the office, one of us on the board gets a call. I understand emergency voucher applications have been frozen for a while.
No, that's not correct information.
Okay, well, in getting a call from Jericho Way and the case managers there, and they gave the name of a housing specialist that shared with them that they needed to pause or freeze in sending in any applications because we were behind. And I can give you the name.
Because we were behind.
That they were behind
MHA was
in
behind.
processing. So I'm just asking if in fact we are that behind that we're telling the general public that we're freezing.
Actually, that's, okay, so I actually was told the opposite information, that Jericho Way wanted to pause. But I will get clarity. We're actually really focusing on our EHV. We're trying to make sure that we have as many leases as possible by September of 2023. So for us, that's not the case, and we'll need to just clarify with whomever. We certainly are wanting all of our referring agencies to keep them coming.
And then again, looking at Elm Street, Those lease ups are low because we continue to wait for, and there has been several referrals sent over, but we cannot lease up until, of course, they are vetted here at MHA. So we're looking forward to getting more applications vetted here at MHA and also with the PBVs that are at Madison 3. Because we do have, those have to come through MHA, and we do have vacancies in those areas.
Okay, I have to look at the, definitely make sure the PBVs are coming. I know with the Elm Street, so the last time we met, there were 2 ready for lease up at Elm Street, and we had some applications sent over, you know, for that. But we'll have to make sure that that steady stream is happening. So the person who's doing the EHV now, who's, you know, she's the right person for it. We did put her on the job for Elm Street as well, but we'll need to probably add PBV to her. Or to someone.
And how many folks are we operating with now in Section 8 or
So-
housing specialists?
Yeah, that, I did include a leaflet in your binder in particular, President Anthony. So we have 9 housing specialists. We have a total of 11, that includes Patrice. And that count includes the inspector. And I was pretty sure I brought the reports down. She brought them down. Here you go.
Okay. And I'm still concerned from a commission as well as a landlord standpoint on our processing of minimum rent requests.
Say that again.
Minimum rent requests, and how the CFR has been administered. We get them too frequently, and we get them where they're turning in check stubs at the same time. So you can understand our concern. When you're asking for minimum rent and you turn in check stubs with it,
It don't go together.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so it's been an issue for us to say,
CHAC.
no, we're sending them back. And the process is that you as the ED should be signing off when those cases come before you, but are coming up in the agency. And that's, you know, I'm a commissioner no matter where I am. And so even in our position as a landlord or managing property at Madison and at Granite Mountain, when someone's putting in the application and they're putting in, I earned this, and then you look at the voucher and it has 0 rent, we're concerned.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a known fact that there is no
we don't-
0 rent.
Well, we don't do 0 rent.
That's what I'm- yeah.
Everybody is at least at the required minimum. Don't you have to look at that, Commissioner? At the required minimum, and so we're not doing, and also with the income, anytime someone's issued a voucher, that voucher amount is informed by their income. So, I mean, I'll take, and have Patrice take a look at it, but if they have income, and then we run that in EIV, so if they don't report, if they're underreporting income, it's going to, that system is gonna expose that, right? So, it'll be interesting to see how they're able to try to
Justify.
attempt to get 0 rent. That voucher amount is determined by their income.
Well,
And that income is verified in that enterprise income verification system. But we can take a look at what's happening there.
Unemployment is not the only portion that is addressed in that. Bank accounts are addressed in that. Whatever other belongings, monetary belongings that has. And these 0 rents are not permanent conditions. They are visited. When you are getting, you still have to, and then they're required to have utilities in their name. So how is that being acquired? So, I mean, there's a lot more to minimum rent, and HUD standard is minimum rent is $50. And we have some that are far below that amount. And some of this, of course, happened before you came on board or Patrice came on board. But as we are going through compliance and research and those kinds of things, there's an effort to correct it because we don't want to be hit with a compliance review of those things in the future. So we are sharing that back to you as you are beginning to go through some of those things.
Okay,
So
take a look at
that
it.
we get them addressed. Audits are the responsibility of the board. So when those audits come back,
So,
we get hit.
Yeah, so the tenant portion, you know, that's determined by that information that's turned in and then verified in that system, so, but I will definitely take a look at it and we will make corrections as we see that there is something amiss.
yeah, and you let us know next meeting.
Yeah, because we always ask
Absolutely.
what's the source of income.
Yeah,
And, you know, when that property manager is asking those questions, they freely say, oh, I've been working here, or this is, you know, they require the check stubs and that kind of thing, so.
yeah,
Those are just questions that, you know, they answer for us.
okay. I'll let you have something by next meeting.
Yeah.
I'll look at this and let you
What
know.
about, let me ask you about the HCV, this non-special programs. What are we talking about there? 1,702 non-special programs.
So those are your HCV, you know,
That's
your
a total, huh?
So your regular housing choice
Okay.
voucher.
Right.
Then, of course, you have your mainstream that has those two eligibility requirements, and then your EHV that you've got to meet some requirements for that, as well as foster youth. So, you know, that's what, your HCV doesn't have these special eligibilities like mainstream. So that's what it is, just your standard HCV.
They're different from mainstream.
Right, yeah, your mainstream is that non-elderly, disabled
Okay.
conditions that you've got to meet.
And that's who this number represents.
The 156 is
No, that-
mainstream, or the 1702
02,
is
yeah.
just a regular housing choice
Okay.
voucher.
All right. We've been seeing that all the time.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I hadn't.
Probably for years.
How often do you research what they make people do?
How often do we
How often do you research?
do the research? So the recertifications, we're supposed to be doing annuals. Now, sometimes if there's a change in the family composition or someone has a loss of job, the recertification is supposed to happen. But as Commissioner Anthony has said, this has not always been in place. And so we are trying to get caught up and get into compliance and make sure that when those triggering events happen, that those recerts are happening. So, you know, to be candid, as we try to get in compliance and really be consistent with it, you know, our goal is to make sure we do that every time. So, in terms of our research, but our annuals, I mean, you know, earlier I said we just sent out 700 letters. We are behind on, we've got to get caught up. So we're gonna, over the next 30 days, get our annuals together.
What we're doing on the properties that CAAC is managing, we are composing a record of all those who are on, per se, zero rent.
Okay,
And we know the ones that since 2021 have not been revisited.
Recertified.
We know that. And we know that people get jobs, they quit jobs. There is a rigorous responsibility in issuing those types of vouchers that requires honesty on the part of the resident. We know that's not happening. You know, that cannot be treated as a permanent situation. And some folk have had that for years. And they go in and out of, and the thing about it is, the CFR requires that that money be paid back
that's right.
when they are employed. So, I mean, there's some
Right.
missed opportunities there. And I have the same situation with the county, so it's not just MHA. When we get them, we send them back, because again, what they're telling us on the voucher does not match what they're telling us on the application. And so there's a breakdown somewhere. in how that is being handled.
Yeah, we definitely need to know about that when that happens, yeah.
But we just like to see that, we get more referrals, and we'll make sure all the applications get over to you, and the applications for those PBV units that are in Madison 30.
You talking about the CAC, will do that?
Yeah.
We manage, properties that have PBV units on it. Yes.
Yeah, it's a mixed
It's a mixed property.
property. We have several of those around.
It's market, it's tax, it's public, it's PBV.
There was an issue that we discussed at our last board meeting, and I meant to bring it up, and it went out of my head.
You're going to have to learn to write stuff down.
Amen, that's exactly right. We had a big discussion. It wasn't about the housing, it wasn't about the home ownership program, or was it?
I think it might have been.
Yeah, so we got 2 home ownership programs, is that correct? FSS,
That's just one that's
and
famous.
then,
Yes.
and then public housing.
We have never put the public housing piece into place.
That's okay.
We have.
That's,
a lot-
that,
we have
yeah,
a lot
all
of-
right, thank you.
There is a part of the CFR that does afford people who are in public
Right,
housing.
and we had talked about how do we get that information out to those people that are
We
in
have
public,
never
that's exactly right.
implemented the
Yeah,
CFR here,
yeah.
and we should.
yeah. We, say again?
We should. I think we got challenged one time in one of our compliance reviews because we did not have it. But there is a program that is for Section 8, and there is one for
Public housing.
public housing.
But
Public
we
housing.
don't have public housing, we have the Section 8.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. We need to implement the public housing piece of homeownership.
Somehow, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
along with everything else that
Yeah,
we're trying to
there's a
do.
direction as to how we go to get that
Exactly.
set up.
Okay. Anything else?
Nothing else. I'll just be on standby in terms of the waiver. I'm gonna reach back out and follow up. I thought perhaps I would be announcing that we were granted it today, but anyway, so far, I haven't heard anything, so. Nothing else on the HCV. So for finance, so Alta is still out today. She did call and said, okay, she's gonna try to get at least the cap funds, and she will also email the finance report. So later on today, as soon as I get that, I'm gonna forward it to you all, because she said that she could try to work on that at home. So we have a couple of people not feeling well, so that should be hitting your inbox sometime after this meeting. So she did
So,
call and was hoping she could come in for this meeting, but she sent this, and,
Couple of questions.
yes, sir.
Now, go ahead and finish, then I'll ask. I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, it's okay. I'll just go ahead and pause.
you had a question?
That's finance.
Okay.
When the MHA, when you do the budget, are you eventually going to give us where we are at that point?
Yes, sir, absolutely. As a matter of fact, so we're just at the stage, and Carlos could probably speak to this because he's been working very closely with Alta on the finance piece and Yardi, because we're just wrapping that up, as to where we're. Do you mind if he can kind of share where we are, so we can have know when to expect that report out that we're used to, or the board is used to getting?
Yeah.
Do we, in this thing, direct,
We did get the chart of accounts finalized. We're working on beginning balances. And with that, we can get everything caught up. And the other thing we're having an issue with is our actual physical checks, the MICA code. We're working with Bank of America to try to get that resolved. So that would expedite some things as well.
What's that issue? What are you talking, what does that mean?
So, at the bottom of the check, the little number line.
Right,
Okay.
so
Oh, yeah.
Right,
but-
so our vendor doesn't have a standard because everybody uses different types of checks. So it's a matter of going in, trying to move this, move it up. And it takes time because once we have it where we think it should be, We have to FedEx it to Bank of America, they approve it or not, and then they give us a list of stuff that we need to do it. So every time we make a change, it's at least a 3-day turnaround.
So why aren't we doing direct deposit?
That's what we are pushing towards, and that's what we would like to do, but at this time, everyone doesn't have that option. We have some people that are unbanked.
Then who we talking about when you say some people? I
Talking
mean,
about residents.
Residents. Yes.
families, homes, yeah, okay,
But when
yeah.
it comes to
I got
vendors,
you. All right.
that should not be an
We're
issue.
definitely pushing that in that
absolutely,
direction.
Yes.
Our concern, Carlos, and Director Benedictito, is this, is the first month, almost the second month of the second quarter,
Yes.
where we've not really had even a trial balance.
Yeah.
Okay? And in not doing that, you put us, the board, because y'all are indemnified, okay? You put us, the board, in hot water. So as the fiduciary responsibility. So we can't continue without there being at least a trial balance.
We got
provided to
that.
us.
We got that.
No, you
No,
don't.
that's what we're in the
Well,
process.
and you don't know where you're at.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
and we
That's
can't
what-
operate in the blind.
I mean,
Well, what did we have?
You
Yeah.
don't
You're
have
right.
nothing.
No.
yeah, I mean,
What did we had something that we.
No, the chart of accounts.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, I'm sorry that.
Yeah,
All right, all
yeah,
right.
the chart of accounts,
That's-
that was, one of the things that slows down a little bit,
Yeah.
because what was initially turned in had to be re-looked at.
Yeah.
Okay, for different reasons. And so we did get some help, to get that looked at and get that sorted out. Those chart of accounts have to be right, and so now you already have that, and so we can move forward with putting in those balances and starting to get, so trust me, we are not wanting to be in this position, we're moving as quickly as we can, so,
does the CAC, are you on your monthly board meetings, are you getting updated on the?
I don't get theirs, I get CAACs.
That's what he
We
asked.
have a
Yeah, that's what he
separate-
asked,
We
yeah.
have a separate account.
Yeah,
Now,
but-
we are still trying to get our stuff broke from, because at one time there was a, agreement between MHA and CAAC that they would do until we got on our feet.
Finance.
They would do our finances, and they would pay, the bookkeeping fee that comes with that.
So, if I'm asking a question, because
Sure.
I don't know the answer.
Sure.
Will we ever see the MHA board, the CAC budget or not?
You will see them, but you'll see them in different formats, but when it's reported by BKD, you'll see them as
The
combined.
total.
Yeah, when BKD.
And that's a whole
does their audit,
different, yeah, that's a
You'll
different,
see
yeah,
them both,
That's annual.
yeah.
yes. But as far as a CAAC board, we are a separate entity, completely. We have our own payroll, our own management team, we're separate. So if you're at a CAAC board meeting, yes, you would be exposed to whatever our records are, whatever is going on in our meeting. But we don't do that in this meeting.
So it's two different entities.
It's two different entities.
And I'm just,
Yeah, and I'm just clarifying.
and for the
yeah.
purpose. What's the purpose? Why is it two different entities?
This is the way HUD, I'll make sure you get the CFR on it. It's the way HUD
Is it
designed it.
PFC, to the Public Finance Corporation, or no?
No, it's
It
a
is
non,
it's a nonprofit
profit.
organization.
yeah.
When
Money-
the spinoff,
money-
and
yeah.
it was set up to
To
allow
allow-
more investment and
And
creation
development.
after RAD.
Right.
See, there had to be a step after RAD. And CAAC was the modification that HUD recommended be created to handle new investments and new creations.
That's sort of like the Public Finance Corporation.
But we're considered.
It's for development.
It's for development, yes.
Yeah.
But no, we're two separate entities.
Did somebody say something?
I think, Mr. Lowe is on, and I think him being the
Lowe?
longest member.
Yes,
here.
ma'am.
Oh, were you trying to say something, or?
It's not a public finance, a public finance entity is owned by a government entity, such as a city or a county. This is truly a non-profit
It's true
that is
nonprofit.
independently owned and is an affiliate and instrumentality of HUD.
So is it considered as another housing authority?
Oh, no.
No, it's not.
It's
Part
not.
of the housing authority.
But we do management, development, we could do RAD if we chose to.
That's correct. The only thing is there has to be a land lease between the housing authority and that nonprofit. That's the only caveat.
The land lease.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos.
Okay, I have something I was gonna ask you, Carlos.
Yeah.
But again, I just put the urgency on the fact that we need
Yeah.
at
Yes,
least a
that's-
trial balance
Balance.
of where we are
Mhm.
and what's going on, and we need that in our hands sooner than later. Again, it's,
Totally
this
agree.
Yeah.
is second quarter,
Yeah.
and, we're being derelict if we're not requesting.
Absolutely. I agree, and I appreciate, your urgency on that because it's shared. Having said that, there's a couple other things, and we have a very scant finance report because of, but we are still tracking our POs in Tinmaz still, so that we
Oh,
can still
wow.
keep our records. We
Is
have
that
to,
right?
we're gonna keep finance records regardless. And so if we have to input them manually, we're gonna make sure we have records, so we'll do that. But I hear what you're
But
saying.
that's strictly as a what, backup or what do you?
For records, for documentation.
I know, all in Tinmaz.
For right now, on the finance piece, because we're not gonna be in a situation where we're not tracking everything. So that's, until we finalize that very last leg, and we're just about there, we're making sure that we're keeping our documentation. So, so that part, we have been using Tinmaz for that piece.
Yeah. So when we talk about documentation,
Oh, no, your purchase orders.
orders, all of
all
those are in
expenditures.
a separate
A
system.
system, yes.
At this
For
time.
right now.
Yes, for right now.
What kind of time frame we looking at? Got any idea?
To be honest.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna say the trial, even after the trial balance, I'm looking at 60 to 90 days out. And the reason will be some stuff we would probably want to discuss offline.
Yeah.
But the trial balance will put us in line where we can start putting those things that's in Tinmaz in there. So that is the reason we keep the finances in Tinmaz, to keep a record, so.
Yes, sir.
I guess you was honest.
That's for you.
We talked to the BKD Tuesday about the audit. He should have 19, did he give us a specific date in May?
So, he did not, he didn't reference a specific date. He just said in May.
Mm-hmm.
And it is on there because it's the qualified response.
Uh-huh.
And just for, Mr. Wright, as a new commissioner, we are still dealing with delayed audits because during COVID, there was a call for a compliance review, and it was done at the national level rather than being done locally for reasons. And they took 18 months, which threw our ability, well, it froze our ability to function because we could not come, we had no financial audits. BKD couldn't do their job because we could not release anything to them while the compliance review was going on. So a lot of what you're hearing is because we had this 18-month
Gap.
That's how long the compliance review lasted?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they took a sabbatical, didn't,
No, they didn't take a sabbatical.
who did?
We stayed on them, begging, please give us something. So what they gave us was more requests for more stuff.
Yeah.
As they went through, but this, yeah, it was 18 months.
Yeah. And we're
So-
getting behind her and
And so
behind
we're
her.
still dealing from the fallout of having that much time to take.
In looking at this cap expenditures, now, the way I understand it is that this obligation end date, and we've got one group that ends 8/31/2023, and we've got another 9/25/23. So that means those funds that are in that have to be expended or either obligated by that end date.
They have to be
Are
obligated.
they gonna?
Long before that, or we
Right.
lose them,
Huh?
or we lose them.
Or, now, is this the date that you, because of COVID, you know, they gave us a reprieve or something? Is this that reprieve date? Do we know? Okay, we need to, that's an issue that we need to address ASAP and start talking about, if not spending them, definitely obligating them to something.
Man, plenty of stuff out there.
I know, yeah, there's plenty, and we're talking about
Probably
maintenance,
rehab.
what else? Rehab, and it looks like it's about $1 million, $1.1 million, $1.2 million. But anyway, we need to know something about that.
And this was, the obligating portion of it, I don't think anything has been done since, Ron Hooks was in, was over the
That's
finance
right,
department.
yeah,
So
uh-huh.
we really need to go back and take a look at what was being done during that time.
Uh-huh.
And Ron has been gone for three
So-
or 4 years.
And it may be possible that you can go back and look at some expenditures,
We have his reports back to 2020.
right?
I'll see.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we have them, as board members, we have them, back to 2020.
Right.
Because they were sent out to us.
And that, yeah, we
As a
used to get
whole,
like a little report or something that told us,
everything.
yes,
Yeah.
So we got those as monthly reports, so we have those.
yeah, and we need to look at those. And definitely, I don't think we want to, them to come asking about
No, we don't.
that. And it may require
Asking about the audits?
asking, yeah, that we won't have access to that money. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay,
Okay. All right, so, I guess on the procurement front, no major, we have some micro procurements, because, just want to make sure we get all our, know where we are financially. And so being very, very modest about that. But having said that, you know, there was an RFP that apparently had gone out before I even started because, you know, when Lowe was here, he asked that I reach out to the HUD field office to see if they would grant approval because this particular RFP was regarded as a sole source.
yeah.
The construction management one. So anyway, I reached out to them regarding that particular RFP that was sent out, and they stated that they were not satisfied with the outreach, so we just reposted that same RFP and did the outreach. So this last time, they did state that they were satisfied with the outreach, but it was some of the content in the RFP itself that was problematic. So it was not approved to go forward.
And the project is so well underway, and so we're missing the opportunities that we had with the towers to have the second set of eyes on the productivity of this project, that I think the board needs to revisit this piece, since we did send it out originally. It was done, as far as we can tell, appropriately. I don't know, and I really would love for the, someone from the field office to
to be
come over
in-depth,
and
yeah,
explain to us
what-
what their real issues are, because I'm not seeing it. So, I would ask for an invitation to Jackie Otto or whoever handles this to come over and explain what their objection to it, because it's the same process that was used when the towers were done. And the towers, their involvement, we proved the necessity and the essence of them being of doing this process. it went faster, the quality of what was done was increased, so we just want, and it kept us from having to go back on a lot of things. So I'd like an invitation to be sent over to the HUD field office to come over and give a better explanation than just saying, we don't approve, what wording, what are you asking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is this, explain this to me. There were some substantive issues noted on the RFP, which was initially posted in earlier 2021.
We don't know what
What
that
that-
is.
what-
Well, so,
Yeah,
yes.
what they saying?
So some of the issues in the RFP itself,
Which they approved,
well.
right?
No,
I mean, okay.
no, they did not approve it. So
Okay.
we reposted, tried to do aggressive outreach so they would approve it because
Uh-huh.
of the sole source. And so, so this time they did approve, they were okay with the outreach part, but it was the fact that
Noted,
pricing was mentioned, and maybe it shouldn't be. Actually, there's a gentleman over there named Aaron, I believe, that did give some feedback
Okay.
about those substantive issues. And I did know what he was talking about. And so, but I can forward that to you. I can certainly just do the invitation.
All right.
But,
I'll look
yeah,
at
I can do that.
that makes sense to you there, Mr.
You
Wright?
know, so.
You know what they're saying?
No.
Okay. thank
Well,
you.
this is vague. It
Go
doesn't,
ahead. Yes, sir.
May I interject?
Yes, sir.
The difference with the wording, we got on data about the wording because she would send out everything as an RFQ. Based upon the CFR, RFQ are only limited to legal, engineering, and architectural, okay? And that's what the field office is concerned about because of the wording that was in there was appropriate for an RFP. That's what the holdup is.
So
Take
again, we
that-
just need to clarify what they're asking
Uh-huh.
for, making sure it's an RFP and not an RFQ.
FQ.
We're not asking for qualifications for the job, a list of qualifiers for them to bid, but actually giving them an opportunity to bid on that.
yes,
position.
he was instructive, and he suggested that we do another ICE. And so there was some direction was provided in the email to cure some of those issues.
All right.
So,
I'm concerned that, we don't have a list of contracts that are coming up, for possible renewal in this report.
yeah, so, we have the active contract law, but I will just, in looking at it, I noticed some things that I started to kind of wonder about the accuracy of it. And that's why I'm gonna ask that the last resolution, Chairman, be tabled, because, I gotta look at it again.
Well, some of them are coming up on that 90-day review.
Window.
date.
Mm-hmm,
And so that's why I'm concerned that there are none on this, in this report, because those letters should be going out quickly for the
Mhm.
purpose of
The notifications.
of just getting qualifiers for it.
yeah, I will consult to see who is up on those 90 days. We do get those letters out. Some of the contract dates are a little bit off. That's important because that determines when those 90 days set.
Windows, yeah.
Yeah. So, for example, I thought we were okay with our copier contract situation, and I just noticed that in just doing some research on a computer, it just couldn't have been correct. So, anyway,
You'll have to adjust your budgets too afterwards.
yeah, it's critical. So I was just talking to the compliance director this morning about how we've got to get in there and really get those, make sure those dates are accurate. So. Because it's gonna shape our procurement planning.
So, was Kenneth, on this RFP, were you saying that it was presented in as an RFQ first? Is that what you're saying?
Low, I thought he was saying that.
No, it was a
different.
mixture, that the wording was confusing because Jacobs was using RFQ and RFP in the same sentence.
Right.
And you can't do that when you send something out to bid.
So it wasn't-
And like I said, RFQ are reserved for certain elements.
Yeah, and that's what that wording, I'm saying that
It's stalled.
in there,
Yeah.
refers to the RFQ. I'm assuming that's.
Right,
and we
RFQ can only be used for
Right.
legal fees,
Right?
bookkeeping, architecture and engineering. That's only,
Yeah,
that's the
I
only
got you.
use for an RFQ.
All right,
So it's just the wording needs to be.
That's it.
straight.
we hope.
Yeah.
That's
we'll
part of
assume.
it,
Yeah,
yes.
Part of it.
But mainly it, but yes.
But, Erica, I really would like for us to get a copy of what the explanation was,
Okay.
before we go a
I
step
can-
further, because
I can
just,
forward it to you.
say substantive issues doesn't do anything for me. I want to know what those issues are.
And, yeah, and you go, yeah,
Substantive.
okay, to look at them and
Yeah,
see, I
I'll
heard
forward
that.
the,
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right.
Email to you, or
Okay.
Micaiah, we can do it if she's listening. She normally logs in and tracks. Okay, and just a reminder, speaking of procurement, the deck requirements, to settle the pool issues, so I can get the, procurement policy back
thought you
to
did.
I
HUD.
had it, I just need to send her the documentation on it, so
And
Okay.
I'll send it this in.
they got Jackson, Peterson, and Lewis.
Oh, these are
Lewis.
just, reminders.
I didn't think that was part of the debt report. Did it say all members?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
It
I,
did.
Okay, I didn't remember it saying all members, but okay.
It's just a reminder. I know there's some classes that already been taken, and I just need those certificates.
right. Oh,
Uh-huh.
you sent them.
I have yours.
Okay, thank
I
you.
do. I absolutely have yours, and I've already, it's already been sent over. And
Who is
then,
Lewis?
oh,
Who's
well,
Jackson?
'cause I probably
But they
should've
got
said
Jackson. They got Anthony, Jackson, Peterson, and Lewis.
Well, you know, that's
Okay.
probably, that's just Erica late at
Okay.
night, you know,
Jackson,
Jackson, Lewis,
right.
yeah. That's what that is.
All right.
And just, some updates, so remember when we talked, you all passed the resolution for section 18 disposition?
Yes.
And I was looking at the rules around that, and so, it's not that as complicated as I thought it was gonna be, but it does require that it be included in the annual plan. I had talked to then Chairman Lowe about it, and so with some language about that. And the property has to be appraised, so went ahead and got an ICE for that, and in the stage of seeking quotes for the appraisals. And speaking of properties for the 2701 South Main Street, getting the DOT check for that with Laura Johnson, I told you I was gonna reach out to HUD, and just to make sure that that's done. And so, that was the recommendation there. Laura, replied back and said she'll confirm that, so that, all due diligence is done with regard to that. And I will say, as soon as we can settle this with the insurance company and get our check and so forth, we are hoping to be able to procure a vehicle in the near future, but, we just gotta get a check in hand.
So in this instance, you gotta get 3 quotes for the vehicle, correct?
Always.
Yeah.
Any-
For anything.
Yeah.
So you can start that, right?
Yes, but you know, those quotes can expire, you see, so if
All
it's,
right. Okay.
yeah. If you wait too long, then you'll have to go back and get the quotes again, so. Yeah. But anyway, so not much, not even a lot of heavy procurement going on right now.
So when will you start on the quotes?
We're trying to track our check. We would like our check. We want to be able to make the purchase as soon as we get this quote with the vehicle, because the vehicles are going so quickly. And so, they've approved us for the check. We've got to track it.
Were
We
you
already,
given an amount on the,
10,000.
10,700. And so, we got
well,
to,
how much are we looking at for the replacement to spend? Same amount?
no, a little bit, a little bit over that, because we want something decent, but. Yeah, exactly. So, but we have some other vehicles that are looked at for some trade-offs.
Okay.
Yeah. the trade-ins, actually, not
But,
trade-ins.
I mean,
trade-ins.
just for the sake of the process, you don't have a ballpark figure to even bring to the table to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
this is what this might cost, and even set in budget for what this vehicle might cost.
Mhm.
So, to me, and I hear what the members of the board is saying, that it doesn't hurt to see what the going price is
Oh,
out there
that's
for
been
those
done.
vehicles.
It's not included, I mentioned it, but it's not on the procurement report. When it's on the procurement report, that information is gonna be there. I don't have a check in hand, so, but yeah. And trust me, we've already done the quotes, actually, before our vehicle was stolen, because we were in a position at that time. So we have done the research, we've got some really great quotes, so we've got that, but, I'm just,
I mean, I agree.
you know. But yeah,
Ms.
when I'm ready, to make a purchase, I'm not,
I'm just saying that you could go ahead and say, all right,
no more than 25,000. I mean,
Right.
I
So-
think
I mean,
that's
yeah.
a lot. I mean.
15.
we didn't, I mean, for the type of vehicles that we bought a CAHC, that's way out there for what you're looking for.
That's
Because
way out there.
The 15,000 is way out there. Yeah, yeah, in the market.
It's all right.
But anyway.
Yeah.
like I
it's our
said,
research and you know.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you asked for it, so that's it.
Okay.
But anyway, but like I said, it's not on the report because I'm not ready to talk about it in that detail. But that research's been done. When I'm ready, you'll get it, and you'll have more detail. I'm not making a purchase tomorrow.
All right.
Well, and again, with our budget being what it is, we just like to have some ballpark figure.
Yes.
And I don't want to, the minimizing of the board's responsibility when it comes to finances. We recognize
Absolutely.
that you do day-to-day, but ours is oversight and above board knowing, because at the end of the day,
Or
they're
predicting
gonna
it.
hold the board accountable.
Yeah, I understand
So
what
we
you're
just-
saying. If you have a recommendation on, let me know.
There's just a whole lot going on out there that we might just do some research to know what our availability might be.
Oh, research is happening. So I don't want to give you the impression that research is not happening. Research is happening. I don't make a lot of large purchases. And if you think about my time here, everything's micro. When this vehicle is, procured, it's probably gonna be the first thing. But, we were, doing research to make a vehicle before this theft happened. So, I don't make those purchases. I'm cautious, and Chairman Lindsay, I think you know that. That's why I'm doing the DOT, although you didn't see the point of it for this 2701 South Main. I want to follow the rules, and I'm going to. So I don't think,
Well, I think the
I'm not
point-
fiscally
Okay,
cautious,
okay.
so
The
just know
point
that.
is, you can do more things
At once.
once.
Than
We
just
don't have
sit
to
and
wait to
wait.
have a check in hand to do this, to do that, to do this. Sometimes they can be happening simultaneously,
And
and
it's
they come
happening.
together all at once.
Who
But-
said I'm doing one thing at a time?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
That's not the case, but I am cautious. I am not nilly-willy when it comes to federal resources. So, that's my record. You will not be able to name one thing that I've done like that. So your concerns are listened to, but just think about, what has Erica purchased?
Well,
You already,
no, yes.
Okay.
So-
Just we're trying to.
All right.
Ms.
We wanna
Edie,
move,
it's all-
yeah, we got to
It's all
move.
with the needle.
All right, here we go.
On the, well, I guess we're out of procurement to what?
looks like probably legal. And, not a whole lot with legal, but there is some update there. That legal report has thinned out, which I think is probably a good sign. Let's see, where am I? Okay, so with the Jarman versus Little Rock Housing Authority, so motion for summary judgment was filed April 6th. Jarman's response is due at the end of the month, and mediation is scheduled for May 16th. So that's that. With the Jada Johnson versus Little Rock Housing Authority, with the disability discrimination, retaliation claims, initial disclosures have been exchanged with the plaintiff. Discovery has started and will end in November 2023. The case is supposed to be trial ready for April 2024. We expect to file a motion for summary judgment, Audio has been shared with the plaintiff's counsel to demonstrate that the claims for failure to accommodate are completely unsupported and have them to, ask them to withdraw those claims. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, the lawsuit, Andrew Rochelle Thomas versus MHA, that's been moved over to CHC, so that's the last action on that. And then the others, I know Sylvester Smith, I did reach out, but I understand that he's probably quite busy this week, so he hasn't gotten back with me, but I'm sure he'll give me some updates on the others in the near future with the fallen tree and some of the others listed here. But no other legal updates with that. Any questions on that?
On the development side, if we're continuing to move, I'm disappointed that Gorman was not on this call today.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And this was after, in the connection call, which took place on Monday, they were up at arms that they said that the link had not been sent to them in the past, and that was the reason for them not being a part of these meetings. And so when it was sent out, I resent it to make sure they got it, and I did get a response from Brian Swinton that he did get the link. I think at this point, with the indulgence of the board, I'd like for the board to hear from Deborah Center, who is the compliance manager, who has gone out at our request, at her findings, and our attempts to try to get this problem resolved. I don't want this meeting to end as if we have not done anything.
Yes, yeah.
But in our early attempts, when we got the initial complaints, we initiated compliance visits to go and observe for ourselves what was taking place at the building. Deborah took pictures. We've now got a video cam where when she goes, she's actually able to video what the property looks like. We know firsthand the issues that are taking place at Paris Towers and at Cumberland. The only property that we see that is really something to talk about is Powell. Powell has no issues. It's immaculate every time you go in. Clients over there seem to be well taken care of, so that we know a little bit of the problems is local management as well. Deborah, would you talk a little bit about some things that have been observed over there?
Chairman and the board, please understand that I believe it was in just a few months ago when Chairman Lowe at that time had received a call regarding some of the problems at Paris Towers, namely the trash. And it was atrocious. When you walked into the trash area at Paris Towers is within the laundry area. And when you walked in there, the tenants could not do their laundry simply because the trash had backed up from the trash chute into the laundry area, where they could not get to the washing machines. It was at one point where there was a lady in a wheelchair, and she had apparently had a stroke, and she had to get help to move the trash in order to wash her clothes. And so that was pervasive throughout those 14 floors at the initial onset. And so I have been going over there every week as following up to the problem. And after calls, because there is a weekly call with Gorman, and this was a issue that President Anthony definitely took on to say this cannot be tolerated. And Gorman said that they would take care of it. And at one point in the call, it was said that it was taken care of. And I had come from over there. And so on the very same day that they said it was taken care of, I had pictures to show that it was still an ongoing problem with the trash. Now, with the persistence of President Anthony and Chairman Lowe, I continued to go over there for follow-up. And so after, 3 weeks of follow-up, finally, it became better. But it is, at Paris Towers, they do not have a compactor. And so when that chute is backed up, it affects everyone. And my understanding is they do not intend to get a compactor because of the finances. So the trash is one of the things
Is there a compactor at Powell?
that I'm not aware of, sir, but they do not have that issue. They don't have the issue with the trash.
Okay,
But I do not know if there is a compactor. I've never had
so
the need to.
compactor is not the answer.
Well, for one at 14 floors, perhaps it is the answer for Paris, where Powell doesn't have 14 floors. And they, so they have less residents.
Okay.
And so they don't have the problem. And actually, their trash is not in a laundry room. It's in a different area, right on the hallway. And there is no issue. Even that area is cleaner.
The building is clean.
The building is cleaner. The whole trash issue leads to other issues. Whereas the smells, the diseases, the organisms that's growing out of it, the filth where it overflows onto the floor and people have to track that back into their living spaces. It was ridiculous at one time. And in going over there on the 14 floors, I used stairwells to go down each floor. And so there was defecation in the stairwells. It was ridiculous. It was unkept, it was unclean, it was unsanitary. And I'm not sure as to whether this would have been taken care of had there not been an intervention with the MHA board to send me over there to look at the problem. Because it was not fresh defecation. It was dried, it'd been there for a while. And so finally something was done and they cleaned the stairwells. There just needs to be something done. I don't know what the contractual agreement is as far as making something happen now, but it's come to that point. With the testimony of your residents today, you've heard the situation.
It all begins with management and how, what's going on there.
Well,
and the lack thereof.
Do we
Management
see?
leaves at 2 o'clock, is it 2
Yeah,
o'clock?
that lack there.
That's what I think we heard, and
Yeah.
people tell us that.
And at
party
night,
starts
no
about
security.
9. There is no security on the
All of
property at
that.
all, and that has been brought up in those connection calls to Brian Swint and then all of his upper staff, that there is no security on the property. We have heard from folk, in fact, Deborah videoed some points where we knew people were going in, kicking the door open, and staying there, which is the squatter issue.
I
that's taking
believe
place.
a lot can be ascertained from the fact that they're not on call today. When you see this amount of issues and the management
Somebody
company
told me.
does not attend your board meetings, which they are well aware of, the board meeting's time and date does not change. So if you had an intention,
To
in my
address,
opinion, to address these matters,
yes,
you would have
made an
made
effort.
this
That's right.
an effort.
Yes, sir.
So,
So what's our move?
yeah, so
What's the resolution?
Yes, sir.
I don't have the resolution. The resolution is gonna have to come from whatever the
That's what we
contractual
talk- that's-
agreement,
yeah.
the contractual agreement.
I think that we do host another meeting with Brian Swint. And at that point, if there's, we do check with our lawyer to see what our steps are. There is, since we are the general partner, to sue them, we'd be suing ourselves in the general partnership. But I think there is a point where this has to be done. Again, this is the year when the management of the property is supposed to come.
Go
from the
away,
CAA.
that's, yeah, they
So
don't
as
care.
part of the RAD agreement.
Yeah.
So, normally what we see in these RAD deals is that the last portion of it is the developer's opportunity to get as much money out of the property as they possibly can before relinquishing it back to the, new management company.
When exactly, is it in August?
It's not, we haven't decided when we wanted to start negotiating.
Is that?
But not only do you have the trash
But we
issue,
start negotiating in August then, or is that?
We have
when?
not set a date
Yeah.
as to when we're gonna start that negotiation.
Mr. Chairman, we can exercise that option in December, but it doesn't hurt to start negotiating earlier. But our first crack at the door is in December.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I would say that, and from where I see it, the later the better, because it is a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff that has to be in order, and I know, former Chairman Lowe had offered, May or June. I ain't doing that. Because it is so much, work attached to
Yeah.
that.
And we got so
And,
much on our plate now.
And we got so much on our plate right now. So, the later the better, so this starts in October, and then I'm good with that. But it's certainly not something I wanna delve off into right now.
I'd rather get this fixed first.
Well, it's on them, the elevator is a health and safety issue. The front
Major.
door is a health and safety issue.
so you have that one elevator. You have two elevators, but only one's operational.
In a 14-floor building.
Yes.
That's
And so,
ridiculous.
and I've been there when you have the wheelchairs lined up to try to get into an elevator that can only hold at the most three.
Is that right?
At the most three of the wheelchair tenants. And they're waiting to get to their appointments. So I've been going over there weekly. They've been waiting to get to their appointments. They have doctor's appointments. And so when you go over there, especially on a Monday, they're trying to deal with the trash issue that accumulates over the weekend. And so they're using the elevator to remove the trash. And thus, when they occupy the elevator, then you're holding the tenants up because you only have that one elevator. And this has been an ongoing problem. Ongoing. Still today, it's ongoing. You have, I haven't checked on the door to Paris Towers, but 2 weeks ago, the door was opening and closing on its own. So it was a matter of trying to jump in and jump out before the door got you.
Did they have at one time, I understand, people had to sign in to sign out, or just sign in when they came in?
Yeah,
How
that's
is that all-
gone.
Is that 24
All
hours
that's
a day?
gone away.
All that's gone.
All that's gone away.
Wait, it was 24 hours a day?
It's a free-for-all now.
Because
No,
there's
I
no
think
security.
The
Yeah.
downtime was at 10, that nobody was in and out unless you lived there at 10. The rules and regs were something that they created within the organization, and they shared those things with us. Again, the property ran somewhat smooth. We've always had some type of issue, whether it was the accounting issue of how people's rent was taken care of and various, but we were always able to work toward a place where we had a solution. This is an issue that seems to be ongoing as the end of time. Now, I will say this, one of the reasons that they have said that they don't have security has been funding. And they lie the issue of funding at MHA's feet because of issues in our accounting department that have not been resolved. I have pushed for those issues to be resolved as soon as possible, so not only them, but other folk ain't having that problem. So,
Accounting issues, meaning we owe money.
yes. Yes. So, that's why, again, it is so important that we get some idea, some handle on what's going on with us, with, HAP payments, subsidies, and the whole 9 yards, of what's taking place here. So, but to that end, there is a requirement for them to follow the HUD rule of providing a safe, clean, healthy, secure environment for our people to live in. So they don't get around that because they're violating our agreement because we follow the HUD standard. So there's a couple of issues there that still needs to be taken care of. But I think, and I don't mind making that contact this afternoon. I have Brian's cell phone number, telling him we need an emergency conversation to see about these issues, because I know the media is in the room today, and they may just get some media that they didn't expect to get. And if the neighborhood, Parish Tower sits in the middle of Qualpole quarters, and if the Qualpole folk have decided that they're actually gonna get an attorney, then there's gonna be some litigation. So our problem is, and there's been an attempt to buy that building in the past because it has the most beautiful scenery over it, and to change it over to condos. The hitch to that has been the relocation cost for the folks who live there now. So there's a lot of pieces, moving pieces to this that we must get a handle on as a part of the general partnership. And so we need to do that call.
Now, will this be a CAC issue or an MHA issue?
It's both, because MHA has the ground lease.
Yeah.
So it's both. In all of these projects, MHA is directly involved because of ground lease terms.
Because of what now?
The ground lease.
CAC has the units.
The management
The
of those.
units. But
MHA
has
has
the
the
ground
actual,
lease.
we're standing on,
Yeah.
his
They
responsibility.
don't lose ground.
Yeah, we don't lose that.
They don't lose ground.
Property.
Yeah, so the property,
Yeah.
but the units that own the property are CAC. So it's both.
Well, can we get secured, can we get, you know, at one time they had patrols and
They're not doing anything.
nothing.
No.
I mean, can we make an issue out of that?
At
There
any
has
of
to
the
be.
towers.
Huh?
No security at
Yeah,
any
well,
of the
No,
towers.
no, and
I mean,
basically,
they used to walk through at least, or something that,
the only two places where it's really become an issue is Cumberland and Paris. Now, again, Powell is just run altogether differently. And again, so a lot of the impact is management,
yeah, it's the
the
big.
local management. So, again,
Is that going into Cumberland?
Cumberland, Powell, and Paris.
Paris, they all going, yeah.
So, I mean, just driving through, you can see the difference between all three of them and how they're locally managed. So, we're gonna have the same issue, as there's a turnover with Sunset, if we don't get a handle on it now. We are now in the middle of a rat deal that has Sunset, which is, and,
Have you seen it?
Stephen.
Do you know where? Yeah, you need to see
yeah,
it.
you need to go.
Yeah,
and
you
try.
need to go by there, and we get together. You said you wanted to
let's
go
do
to
that.
lunch somewhere.
So let's,
Next week?
Okay,
that's.
and see all the property, we can see.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of the
Yeah.
development.
Well-
I didn't want this meeting to close out as if we have been silent. on
And
this
it's
issue.
still, I mean, you know, although we are talking about it, I think that they need to know something that, hey,
I think there needs to be a all-community meeting over there.
okay, yeah, all right.
But, and like I said,
Let's-
we can ask for that community meeting where you tell these folks what you're gonna do and you hear from them personally. I think
And
today.
ask Gorman
they
to
had-
go-
I think today they knew that these people were gonna be here.
Yeah,
I absolutely think that somebody on the management team, after encouraging them to come,
yeah,
also told management that
that
they
they
were
were
coming
gonna be
down.
here, yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's my spiel on that, and I don't mind making the contact, to the Gorman
Okay.
company, and I'll CC
Everybody,
everybody
all
on
the
it.
board, except, yeah.
And Erica, like I said, it'll be MHA, CAC in our attempt to move this agenda.
Okay.
You don't get any help?
Oh, I carry a big old stick.
Oh, I bet. come by and.
All right, where we at?
I can go.
Board reports?
I'm going to save this report until after executive session. I know that there are some things that possibly going on within the agency, but I'm going to table this until after executive session.
So we have no technology.
Unless Carlos want to tell us something. On the
You got
technology
anything,
side.
you got an update on technology, where we are, kiosks, or?
With the kiosks, we're working with Yardi and the design group concerning one of the wait lists. Once we had that issue resolved across the board, we are gonna flip the switch where when people go to apply, it strictly go to the Yardi side of things. And like I said, all three are working together to try to get this issue resolved as quickly as possible. Like Erica said, we had 700 letters go out last week. We've had 15% of people go online and sign up. Those people are submitting their documents. We've had other letters go out this week. So that part of things, the customers that have done it, they like the portal, they like being able to have the ability to upload things at their convenience. Of course, our housing specialists like it because once the client submits though, the housing specialist can email them right back, and it cuts down on excuse me one second.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. What is it?
It's one of the tenants of the HCD.
Okay. We may
What's
have
the
been
issue?
security measures, man. I'm coming down here for a second. Is that Miss Lucy?
I don't know.
Okay. Where were we?
Well,
Well, Carlos is
Okay.
Right.
sharing.
But the process, over time is gonna continue to smooth out. We do enjoy it. There's something that I mentioned last board meeting. We are testing, I made some changes to the phone system, and we are in the process of testing it. As of right now, when a person or a client call in, there's a menu for them to choose their last name. They press their corresponding number, and it goes directly to their caseworker. We're just trying to make sure everything works correctly with that, and that should cut down on the number of phone calls downstairs and get the clients directly to their caseworker.
Is there any type of signal that can be given when the mailboxes are full? That allows you or somebody else to know that the mailboxes are full? Because even though they're getting to their case manager.
Yes, ma'am.
They are not getting anybody or able to leave a message because the mailboxes are full.
I'm not for sure, but that's something I definitely look into this week, well, between this week and next week. And it might just be some monitoring on my end that I need to do.
Yeah, because like I said, that's, when they don't get y'all, they find us, as board members. And like I said, they get the front desk, but after that, it's a dead zone.
And I think the good thing about setting the phone systems up this way, we'll probably get a better idea of exactly what's going on.
It will give a count as to how many calls answered, how many missed calls. Is that built into this system?
There's some analytics that are built in.
Okay.
And on the technology front, that's what I have unless there are any more questions.
Okay. No housing report?
We had that first.
Who?
From the folk.
And finance committee report. I think we've had that. We know we're in. Yeah, okay. Anything else?
I would like to go into executive session.
Oh, okay. You were asking about anything else? Did you want to talk about the Corey, the qualified response? Did you say?
Well, we mentioned that.
Okay. you
Yeah,
mentioned
yeah,
it.
then we talk about the
Everybody was
qualified
good?
report that is due next month. Yeah, which is a big
Okay.
deal. I mean, you
Okay.
know, it is.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'd
Thank
like to
you.
go into executive session.
Okay.
Where you going? Oh, okay.